Special Agent Ben Devon entered the briefing room with a hard, focused expression. A direct assignment from the Deputy District Chief wasn't common, which meant the situation was serious. Behind him, his partner, Special Agent Peter Mitchell, looked much calmer. The two agents contrasted sharply. Devon was tall, broad-shouldered, and in his mid-30s. His short black hair and precise suit projected a typical federal image. Mitchell, younger and shorter, had a softer appearance, hinting at more hours behind a screen than in a gym. Though he tried to copy Devon's professional style, Mitchell's clothes always seemed slightly rumpled. His light brown hair was equally uncooperative, no matter how much he worked on it. Both men entered the small, functional briefing room. A large table dominated the space, surrounded by chairs and a high-definition monitor at the front. Right now, the monitor displayed a solid red screen marked "Secure Access Only." "Sit down," the Deputy District Chief instructed, skipping any pleasantries. Holding a file, he began speaking as soon as the agents took their seats. The monitor lit up, displaying images in sync with his explanation. 3 weeks ago, Cyber Command identified a breach at Los Alamos. At first, it looked like a typical hacker until they hit level 3 firewalls. 2 weeks ago, the same signature appeared at Minot Air Base, inside the ICBM replacement program. Since then, there have been 2 more breaches, one in a submarine navigation system at Kings Bay, the other in a missile procurement project. Someone's targeting nuclear systems. Devon and Mitchell listened silently. In short, the Deputy District Chief continued, someone is trying to acquire a nuclear weapon. The Chinese? Mitchell suggested. They already have nukes, Devon countered. Could be Iran. We suspect terrorists, but nothing links the breaches to known cells. We're not ruling out domestic threats, the chief clarified. Any leads at all? Devon asked. The chief looked irritated but answered. We traced the activity to a commercial computer node near Valley View High School and Sunshine Mall. That area's seen a surge in orders for advanced scientific equipment through shell companies. And this is the recipient of most of that equipment. He handed Devon the file. Devon flipped through it, confusion overtaking his initial seriousness. Is this a joke? He asked, as Mitchell leaned in to glance at the file. This is as serious as it gets, the chief said flatly. We think someone's building a nuclear device. Your job is surveillance. This girl isn't our suspect, but she's our best lead to whoever is. Devon looked again at the file's cover. It read, TOI, Bunny. Inside, a photo showed a dark-haired teenage girl. Roxy Sparks wished she was anywhere else. Like any 16-year-old, she wasn't thrilled about spending her Saturday in a basement lab helping with another one of Lacey's questionable science experiments. But Roxy wasn't exactly a typical teenager. Though chronologically 16, her current life was thanks to Lacey Volt. Pass me the socket, Lacey called from beneath a large metal device. Only her legs in tight jeans and worn boots were visible, along with her grease-smeared hand snapping for attention. Sighing, Roxy rose carefully from her stool, mindful not to snag her tights on the bench. They had cost her more than she liked to admit. She had dressed for a mall trip, not lab work, after Lacey's vague request for help with a beauty project. She placed the tool in Lacey's hand and returned to her seat, resigned. Not this one, Roxy. This is a 9/16, Lacey said impatiently, pushing the tool back toward her. You literally said 9/16. I'm pretty sure I said 5/8. With a sigh, Roxy crouched down to hand her the correct socket. After 2 years of being Lacey's friend and unofficial lab assistant, she was used to these moments. Staying low to avoid any mishaps with her skirt, she brushed her long blonde hair aside. Lacey, she called. Remember when we first started hanging out, we had that deal? Deal, right. You said if I helped you, you'd make sure I got good grades. Grades, yeah. And then you had me start dressing like a girl, and you said the changes, my hair, my body, were normal. Normal girl, sure. Can I go back now? I really don't think this is normal anymore. My body's changed a lot. I'm smaller than the guys in class even when I'm wearing heels, and I'm not getting any taller. There's other things too. Lacey kept working, wrench sounds filling the silence. Are you even listening? Everyone thinks I'm really a girl. My mom took me to a doctor, and even she said I was perfectly fine. Lacey kept hammering at something, forcing Roxy to raise her voice. I think this is permanent, she finally shouted. My mom's pushing me toward a women's college. She's introducing me to her friends' sons. I just want to go back. I want to be a guy again. I need to be normal. Lacey paused, sliding out from under the machine on her creeper. What about Greg? He's a guy. I'm sure he'd let you hold his hand. That's not what I meant, Roxy said, face burning. I want to be myself again. Oh. You mean you want Greg's body parts? I can probably do that. What? No. Wait, you can? Technically, yes. But that's not today's project. Lacey stood proudly. I've just finished something that will actually help the world. Roxy, thrown off, asked, what is it? Lacey stood up, brushing grease from her lab coat. Behold! The Focused Elegance Modality Baseline Stimulator. I call it the FemBS. Roxy blinked. And what exactly does that do? It makes things beautiful. Lacey said proudly. Like makeup? Lacey rolled her eyes. No. It searches for alternate realities where things are more beautiful, then focuses that reality onto ours. Isn't that risky? Lacey shrugged. It'll be fine. Watch this. She flipped a switch. Nothing happened. She flipped it again. Nothing. Frustrated, she kicked the machine. Stupid thing, she muttered, slapping it repeatedly with her wrench. Roxy looked at the wall. It's not plugged in. I'll fix it. Meanwhile, in a van parked nearby, Special Agents Devon and Mitchell sat silently, listening to their surveillance feed. Wires and tape recorders surrounded them. I don't think she's a terrorist, Mitchell said quietly. Quiet, Devon snapped, listening harder. That Roxy kid's strange, though, Mitchell mumbled. What was that part about her boyfriend? I missed it over all that noise. Devon shot him a glare. Be quiet. We missed the whole machine description thanks to you. Now we'll have to replay the entire tape. I think she's plugging it in now, Mitchell replied. Suddenly, a low boom rocked the van. Before either man could react, a pulse of blue energy surged from their headphones, crackling over their bodies. Both agents twitched helplessly as the light faded. Once still, both stared at each other in stunned silence. Smoke curled from their equipment, but their clothes were what truly caught their attention. Devon's crisp suit was gone, replaced by a fitted silk blazer over a peach blouse with frills and a stylish scarf. He was now in a pencil skirt and heels. Mitchell wasn't spared either. He now wore tight white jeans, ballet flats, and a cropped baby blue tank top. A small pair of earrings completed the look. Mitchell blinked. Okay, maybe she is a terrorist. Devon said nothing. I want it. Lacey snapped, kicking her feet and pounding the armchair with her fists like a frustrated child. They were in Steele's study, where Lacey had come to ask for an advance on next year's research funding. Throwing a tantrum won't help, Steele said tiredly, leaning on his desk with his head in his hands. He was exhausted from arguing. There's no money. There's plenty in the trust. Lacey shot back. Steele sighed, repeating what he'd explained before. The trust is locked for another 2 years. Your research has been funded from what was supposed to be the education account. School's pointless. I'm already a genius. Just pay me. I've already paid you. That lab of yours didn't by itself. I need more. There's nothing left to give. Steel snapped. The market's down. We only have enough to cover basic expenses. Right now, we're effectively broke. Broke? What do you mean broke? I need plutonium. Steel paused, choosing his words carefully. Lacey, why exactly do you need plutonium? Just some experiments, she muttered, avoiding his gaze. Nikolai Evgenovich had seen a lot for someone still relatively young. As a child during the fall of the Soviet Union, he'd survived the streets of Petrograd through sheer intelligence and ruthlessness, eventually rising in Moscow's criminal underworld. Now, far from home, he searched for new opportunities that often came in unusual forms. $10 million, Nikolai said calmly. That's insane. Lacey shouted, standing on her chair to lean across the table toward him. Lacey, Roxy whispered nervously. Maybe don't yell at the guys with guns? Lacey slumped back down with a huff, crossing her arms and glaring. Roxy's eyes darted around the smoke-filled room at Nikolai's armed men. Nikolai watched Lacey with vague amusement. She had enough resourcefulness to pique his interest. If she could pay, fine. If not, he knew other buyers would pay well for two young girls, especially the blonde. Regardless, he said, that's the price. Unless, you're open to a trade. A trade? Lacey considered. Okay, how about this, $10,000, and I give you a mention in my next research paper. I was thinking more, your friend, Nikolai said, nodding toward Roxy. Me? Roxy squeaked, backing up slightly. Lacey scratched her chin thoughtfully, eyeing Roxy. Lacey! Roxy shouted, smacking her on the arm. Ow! Fine, Lacey muttered. Can't do it, Nikolai. She's my only assistant. How about 12 grand and co-author credit? Junior author, of course. Nikolai's expression darkened. Roxy tugged urgently at Lacey's sleeve. No? Okay, how about this? Free makeovers for you and your guys. Seriously. Some of them could use one. Roxy was beyond relieved when they were allowed to leave the dingy cafe unharmed. I can't believe that, she said angrily as they walked away. I know, right? Lacey said, still stunned. He refused co-author credit and a makeover. How did Russia ever become a world power? I meant you. Roxy snapped. You nearly got us killed. Relax, Pix. I had everything under control. Nikolai watched them disappear down the street, curiosity stirring. There was something about the dark-haired girl. Dmitri, he said to one of his men, follow them. Find out where they live. Back at headquarters, Special Agents Devon and Mitchell sat tensely in the Deputy District Chief's office. Devon suspected this had something to do with the surveillance footage, the part where he and Mitchell had returned wearing women's clothing. They had changed before bringing the van back, but Devon still cringed remembering the humiliating trip into that clothing store. He had thought they'd avoided anyone at the agency noticing. What he hadn't realized was that the van's interior cameras had captured everything after the blue energy flash. Conveniently, everything before the flash was missing. It didn't take long for the footage to spread through the agency. Someone even tracked down the clothing store's security camera feed, clearly showing Devon and Mitchell in their unfortunate new outfits as they entered. The deputy district chief summoned them shortly after. Devon was certain his career was finished. There was no way he could explain to the chief that a 16-year-old girl was behind their cross-dressing disaster. Glad you two ladies made it so fast, the deputy district chief said dryly. Chief, I can explain, Devon started. We're not really ladies, Mitchell added earnestly. Mitchell, Devon groaned. What? We're not. Enough, the deputy district chief snapped. While you two were playing dress up, your friend Volt was meeting with the Russian mob. The Russian mob? Devin barked. So it's the Russians after the bomb, Mitchell said thoughtfully. We think Volt's acting as the middleman, the chief explained. Someone's after plutonium, and it looks like the Russians are ready to supply it. Stick close to Volt. Find out who she's working with and where she's going. She could be the link to a larger operation. Move. Yes, Chief, both agents replied, standing up quickly. One more thing, the chief added as they turned to leave. No dresses on duty. Keep that nonsense in your personal life. We'll try, Chief, Mitchell said cheerfully. Out, Devin muttered, pushing Mitchell toward the door. Hurry up! Lacey yelled, poking her head out of the basement window. A long wire trailed from her lab, attached to a large metal key dangling from a string tied to a homemade kite bouncing along the ground. I'm trying, Roxy shouted back, fighting with the kite. Her long hair whipped around her face, and her skirt kept threatening to flip upward in the gusty wind. She hadn't signed up for flying a kite in the rain. At least I'm not in heels, she thought, glancing down at her awkward rubber boots. Her yellow poncho wasn't helping either, flapping wildly in the wind, tangling her up with the kite string, her hair, and the hood, all at once. Remind me why I'm doing this, she yelled. For science, Lacey shouted back, disappearing inside to check the wire leading to her machine. And because Steele refused to fund her plutonium experiment, she thought bitterly. Who needed plutonium when lightning would do the job? One good bolt, maybe two, was all she needed. I meant tell me again why I agreed to this. Roxy muttered, finally regaining control of the kite as it lifted into the air. Lacey! I've got it! It's flying! Lacey stuck her head out again. Perfect! Higher! Then hold it steady. At that moment, Deborah, Lacey's foster mother, stepped outside holding an umbrella, wearing a robe and slippers. Lacey, you two shouldn't be out in this weather. We're not playing. It's an experiment, Lacey called, rolling her eyes. It looks like a kite to me, Deborah said. And why is there a key tied to it? Across the street, agents Devin and Mitchell watched from a safe house, observing through binoculars. Who's the woman? Mitchell asked. Shoo, Devin replied. I'm reading lips. Mitchell frowned. If you're reading lips, why do I have to be quiet? Quiet! Devin snapped. That's Deborah Altschuler, Lacey's guardian. She's asking about the kite. Why are they flying a kite in a storm? Mitchell asked. That's not safe. They're terrorists. They do unsafe things, Devin said, frustration creeping in. I don't think they're terrorists. Fine. Whatever. As long as whatever they're doing stays over there, I'm happy. Let's just keep watching. They both looked back just in time to see lightning strike the kite. A crack of thunder followed, and a pulse of blue energy shot from Lacey's basement, blasting outward. Before either man could react, the energy hit their binoculars, focusing directly on their heads. That same static-laced pulse froze them both as it surged through. Devin turned to look at Mitchell, then froze in disbelief. Mitchell's hair was now shoulder-length, streaked with blonde highlights. His features looked softer, his skin smoother, his cheeks faintly flushed. Even his eyes seemed brighter. Mitchell? Devin managed. Mitchell was just as shocked to see Devin. His partner's once short hair now fell in long, jet-black waves over his shoulders. Dark eyeliner framed Devin's eyes, his lashes thick and defined. Subtle eyeshadow shaded his eyelids, and his lips were a vivid, glossy red. Thin gold earrings hung from his ears. His skin looked flawless. What the hell just happened? Devin muttered. Gender bomb? The deputy district chief raised an eyebrow at the two agents. Yes, Devon insisted. The chief didn't look convinced. Okay, maybe not a bomb, but definitely some kind of gender-based weapon. Devon felt painfully self-conscious. He tried to fix his appearance, but a miscommunication at the salon left him with a neat bob cut instead of the military crew cut he'd requested. To be fair, it framed his face well, maybe too well. His skin felt too smooth, his beard refused to grow back, and no amount of scrubbing could remove the rosy tint from his lips. How else do you explain Mitchell? He added, gesturing at his partner. Mitchell just shrugged, smiling faintly. He hadn't fought the changes as aggressively. His longer hair was tied back in a casual ponytail. His face had a fresh, natural glow, less dramatic than Devon's full makeup effect, but still noticeably softer. I've stopped trying to explain anything, the chief said, shaking his head. In the old days, I'd have fired you both. Now, thanks to lawsuits and political correctness, I can't even fire someone without getting sued. Devon and Mitchell exchanged awkward glances. I don't care how open-minded the world's become, the chief snapped, jabbing a finger at them. I can still fire you for incompetence. Someone's trying to build a bomb, and that girl, Volt, is our only lead. I don't want to hear another word about gender weapons or mystery blue lights. Get me facts. Understood? Yes, sir, they said in unison. Then get out of my office. And don't come back until you know what she's doing. So, why are we breaking into a power station? Roxy asked. Because we need a bigger, stable power source. Obviously, Lacey replied, rolling her eyes as she clipped through the chain-link fence around the local substation. I thought the problem was too much power, Roxy said, glancing nervously around. There were explosions because we didn't have control. Tapping into alternate realities isn't exactly energy efficient. Roxy hesitated, then followed Lacey through the gap. So, why do we need even more power? To contain the effect, Lacey said. What's the point of building a trans-dimensional beauty enhancement device if you can't aim it properly? Good point, I guess, Roxy said, though she looked far from convinced. Exactly. Hand me the relay. Roxy passed over the heavy device she'd been carrying. It looked like a pair of scuba tanks attached to jumper cables and a stubby antenna. I thought we were hooking up the FemBS directly. Are you kidding? That thing's too heavy to move. This relay will draw power from the station, boost the signal, and broadcast it across town. Smart. I think. Genius, Lacey corrected, connecting the relay to a transformer. Once this is live, we'll cover the entire area. She tightened the last connection, stepped back proudly, and gestured. Okay, Roxy, throw the switch. Several miles away, Steele was finishing his burger in a fast food parking lot when a low, humming vibration filled the air. The lights inside the restaurant flickered out. He heard the crunch of car accidents nearby. Looking up, Steele spotted a varsity football player sprint past, wearing a cheerleader's outfit, pom-poms and all. Somewhere else, a woman screamed, "Oh my God, I'm a girl." Steele calmly sipped his drink, thought for a moment, and muttered, "Lacey," as the sound of sirens echoed around him. "What were you thinking?" Deborah demanded. "No, actually, don't answer that." "Let me guess." Running around in a thunderstorm wasn't risky enough, so you broke into a power station for more energy, and naturally, everything blew up. "She's good," Roxy whispered. "No, she's not." Lacey hissed back, then turned to Deborah. "It wasn't a failed experiment. The FemBS is proven tech, not some random project." "I thought we were still testing it," Roxy said. "Quiet!" Lacey snapped. Deborah glared, then sighed. "You could have been killed. Half the city's power went out. You're lucky I found you before the police did. And once there's an investigation, do you know how much this is going to cost?" What were you thinking? Her scolding continued while Lacey and Roxy sat quietly at the kitchen table. Deborah prepped a first aid kit, treating their minor burns and singed clothes. The static buildup left both girls with hair sticking up in random directions. Roxy kept batting her hair down and flinched each time she got too close to Lacey. Ow! Quit it! Lacey snapped after another shock. Sorry. I can't control it. Then stay over there. You girls are in serious trouble. Deborah continued, pacing the kitchen. And with the power company involved, they'll probably raise the rates, or worse. Lacey rested her chin on the table, muttering. It's no use, Roxy. I'm giving up. Good, Roxy said. I'm still sparking. And have you seen my hair? Lacey watched Roxy's hair rise as she waved her hand near it. That's impressive. Don't worry, the femboys can fix it. You'll be good as new. Until then, maybe wear a hat. I thought you said you were giving up. I am. There's no way to control the effect with local power. What did you think I meant? Nothing, Roxy sighed. She should have known better. So, we're going back to the Russians? No choice, Lacey said. We need the plutonium. Where exactly are we going to find $10 million? Deborah was still ranting, oblivious to the conversation. Just wait until I call Steele's lawyer. I don't get paid enough for this. Agents Devon and Mitchell waited outside the deputy district chief's office. Devon felt doomed. After the last power surge, every piece of clothing he owned had transformed. Somehow, he knew Lacey Volt was behind it. He glanced down miserably. Gray plaid skirt. White blouse with three-quarter sleeves. Black vest with red trim. Red heels, 5 inches tall. The blouse was thin enough to be semi-see-through. His long, flowing hair had returned. I'm dressed like a schoolgirl, he thought grimly. A rather inappropriate schoolgirl, judging by the skirt length and the heels. Beside him, Mitchell sat quietly. He wore black stirrup pants and a long pink knit top. His hair was still tied back but lighter now, almost platinum blonde. He tapped his booted feet to an imaginary beat. Devon glared at him. Why do you always get pants? Mitchell shrugged. Devon sighed, rubbing his exposed thighs, uncomfortable with how smooth and shapely his legs felt. His thoughts were interrupted when the deputy district chief appeared. Devon. Mitchell. The chief smiled lightly. Glad you could make it. Come on in. Devon and Mitchell exchanged nervous glances as the deputy district chief smiled calmly and held the door open for them. They stepped inside cautiously. Why is he being nice? Mitchell whispered. That's a bad sign, Devon muttered. Maybe federal prison bad. Have a seat, the chief said. Can I get you two anything? No, we're fine, Devon answered quickly. Are you sure? It's no trouble. We're good. Thanks. All right then, the chief said, slipping on his glasses and flipping through the reports on his desk. Let's see, no evidence linking Miss Volt to the Russian mob. No leads on the high-tech nuclear shipments. No progress on tracking the supposed plutonium deal. That about cover it? Both agents nodded grimly. And your only discovery is something about a mysterious blue light and a gender bomb? Devon and Mitchell nodded again, faces heavy with resignation. The chief simply nodded. Well, I'm sure you tried your best. Get back to it. Keep me posted. Devon stared, stunned. That's it? Just get back to work? You're not going to say anything about how we look? Oh, right. The chief paused. You both look very nice. Devon and Mitchell left the office in silence. What just happened? Devon asked. Felt like some alternate reality where someone swapped out our boss, Mitchell said. Don't be ridiculous. No one switched the chief. Throw the second switch. Lacey yelled from her perch above the machine. I already did. 5 minutes ago. Roxy shouted back. Then throw the third. We need more power. Steele stood just outside the lab, listening. Lacey's manic excitement was familiar and worrying. He knew how dangerous she could be when she was focused. She's like a rabid genius, he thought, taking a deep breath before stepping inside. That's it. Push it. Lacey cheered, oblivious as she monitored the humming machine from her platform. Hello, Lacey, Steele said calmly. What are you up to now? Steele. You're here, she said awkwardly, glancing around. Just doing some inventories. Using a nuclear reactor? Yep. Roxy, make a note. 1 pocket nuclear reactor. What about the switches? Roxy asked. Count those too. Enough, Steele said sharply. I can tell you're working with alternate realities. That Schrödinger array is a dead giveaway. Lacey groaned. Why does everyone judge me? Like I'm the only one who's ever made a minor unstable wormhole. Power down, Roxy. I shouldn't ask, but how exactly are you helping the world this time? Steele asked. I'm glad you brought that up. Lacey descended the stairs, running her hand along the machine. My focused elegance modality baseline stimulator uses micro-universe probability fields to enhance feminine beauty. Instant makeovers. We'll be rich. You're using artificial pocket universes for cosmetics? They're probability spheres, not pocket universes. Bubble universes sounds stupid. I like that, Roxy chimed in. Bubble universes. Kinda floaty. Science isn't floaty. Lacey snapped. It's just complicated. There were setbacks. I bet, Steele said, examining the machine. How did you stabilize the energy flow? I forced it. Nuclear tech is very persuasive. Or dangerously unstable, Steele muttered. Where did you even get the plutonium? That would be from me, said Nikolai, stepping into the lab with Deborah held at gunpoint. Lacey, is this a friend of yours? Deborah asked nervously. Steele, meet Nikolai. Nikolai, Steele. I believe you know Deborah. She's been helpful, Nikolai said flatly. Though she doesn't seem to know anything about the $10 million missing from my accounts. I assume you do. Everyone turned to Lacey. What? She said innocently. Lacey, Steele said, unimpressed. Fine. Maybe I know something about it, Lacey admitted. But what was I supposed to do? Just let the payment go through? I didn't have the cash to cover it. Before anyone could respond, the windows shattered under automatic gunfire. Everyone hit the floor. Senorita Volt. We need our money, a voice shouted from outside. Lacey scowled, dusting herself off as she crawled under a lab bench beside Steele. I don't have your money, Alfio, she shouted. I used it to pay Nikolai for the plutonium. Another burst of gunfire smashed what was left of the windows. Lacey ducked beside Steele. You stole money from a cartel? Steele asked in disbelief. Lacey rolled her eyes. Apparently. I can't be expected to track every minor investor funding my work, Lacey huffed. She and Steele scrambled for cover as Nikolai fired wildly in their direction. Bullets pinged off metal as he cursed in Russian before ducking as gunfire from outside rattled through the lab. Lacey and Steele ended up under the FemBS, dodging both Nikolai's shots and the chaos outside. If you used cartel money to pay Nikolai, why is he shooting at us? Steele yelled. Cost overruns. Lacey shouted back. Standard problem in advanced science. For you, maybe. If you'd just gotten me the plutonium when I asked, we wouldn't be in this mess. You're blaming me for your budget disaster? Guys, can we argue about money later? Deborah snapped, still stuck as Nikolai's human shield while he fired around her. Meanwhile, Roxy tried sneaking toward the exit. Nikolai spotted her and fired a quick shot. The bullet ricocheted, hitting the fourth switch on the reactor. Roxy screamed and stumbled, accidentally smacking her head against the fifth and sixth switches. The reactor's hum surged, blue light pulsing wildly as Roxy collapsed. A sudden blast shattered one wall of the basement. Flashbangs popped and dust filled the air as Special Agents Devon and Mitchell stormed in, guns drawn. Devon, now dressed in a sleek black cocktail dress and heels, flipped his long black hair aside as he leveled his weapon. Lacey Volt. You're under arrest for high treason. Kind of busy here. Lacey yelled back, shouting to be heard over the growing roar of the reactor. Oh, look, she said, showing her nails to steel. The FemBS works. My nails are perfect. Nikolai rounded the corner, gun aimed directly at Lacey. You bring police to me? He snarled. I'll enjoy ending you. Before he could fire, the reactor's pulsing hum locked into a continuous whine, swallowing every sound. The blue light deepened, spreading until the entire lab dissolved into pale, glowing haze. Now, former Special Agent Ben Devon, now Bella Driscoll, was stuck tailing Lacey and Roxy through the hallways of Valley View High. Surveillance was easier now, considering Devon was officially enrolled as a 17-year-old junior girl. Bella watched Lacey and Roxy at their lockers while adjusting her skirt. Nice dress, January. You're getting better at this, said Bethany Saunders, formerly Special Agent Peter Mitchell, walking up beside her. Her tight, distressed jeans and oversized sweater gave her a casual, feminine look. Thanks, Bella said gratefully. Fashion was harder than she'd expected and ate up most of her time. You look good too. Were you at Sci-Fi Club again? Yup, Bethany said, flipping her blonde ponytail. Honestly, it's fun. I'm the only girl there, so I get a ton of attention. You should join sometime. Bella frowned. I'll pass. Bethany glanced toward Lacey and Roxy. Still following Volt? I'm not following her. I'm monitoring her. Why? Because she's dangerous. Bella snapped. She's probably a criminal, or worse. Someone has to stop her. And I'm going to. I don't know why you can't just let it go, Bethany said, her tone suggesting this wasn't the first time they'd had this argument. Because she turned us into girls. Bella hissed. Look at us. We used to be special agents, with badges and guns. We were men. Now everyone thinks we're just a couple of schoolgirls. Give me one good reason why I should let that go. Bethany smirked. Roger Holloway thinks you're cute. I've got to admit, Lacey, Roxy said, glancing at her nails, my hair's never looked better, and these nails? Amazing. Your FemBS worked. I think I even lost a little weight. Genius, right? Lacey said, grinning smugly. Those idiots at Maybelline will regret not backing me. Well, to be fair, Roxy said, we had to build a pocket nuclear reactor and spend $10 million on plutonium for a makeover. Economies of scale would have solved that, Lacey said, waving her hand dismissively. Why do companies even have marketing teams if they can't see obvious brilliance? Roxy just shrugged. Arguing with Lacey after any sort of success was pointless. Instead, she continued swapping out her books from her locker for the next class. Still, that first time we powered up the FemBS with the reactor felt strange, Roxy said, glancing at herself in the locker mirror. I remember Steele showing up. Deborah too, but after that? Everything went blue. I swear someone else was there. Minor side effect of the probability fields messing with your optic nerves, Lacey said dismissively. Nothing to worry about. I'll fix that before we go commercial. Trust me, no one else was there. I guess, Roxy said uncertainly. Still, I keep getting this weird feeling like someone's watching us. And not in a friendly way. That's just paranoia. I'm a genius. Who'd seriously want to hurt me? Lacey said, clearly unconcerned. From the shadows of the stairwell, Nicole Evers watched Lacey and Roxy, her expression dark and cold. Hatred burned in her eyes. No one does this to me, she thought. Nobody turns Nikolai Evgenovich into a girl and walks away unpunished. Lacey Volt would pay. Roxy and Deborah too, maybe Steele, unless she changed her mind about him. He was cute, and he was supposed to inherit a fortune someday. That could be useful. But Lacey? Lacey was marked. The school bell rang, pulling her out of her thoughts. Damn it, Nicole muttered. She was late for cheer practice. That new girl would probably be trying to lead without her. If that wannabe thought she could steal Nicole's squad, she had no idea what was coming. What was her name? Faye? Whatever. She was next on the list, right after Lacey Volt. No one makes a fool of Nicole Evers, she growled, adjusting her cheer uniform as she marched toward practice. Don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.